seems like a standard, quiet apartment complex, right? But then, as soon as you open the door, bam! Right in the square. I like this town. This is cool. So we're on our way to the Southampton Grosvenors, not to be confused with the Vic in London, for some 2-5 PLO action that was set up by a Facebook group. So hopefully, it's a juicy game. The thoughts are, I have a good feeling that it might be. And we still gotta break even on the trip, so we'll work on it. But first, we gotta stop by the Southampton walls to show you this cool stuff as I walk to the casino. So these are the Southampton walls. I guess built in like the 11th century. I don't know about these exact ones, but it's like super cool. They serve not too much of a structural purpose anymore, but like, I'll pan away. Oops, wrong way. Like right there is a giant mall, and then, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a cool kind of combination of old and new. After the debacle minus 1700 session at the Vic, we returned the next night and had a winning one. A little over 8, pretty much like almost exactly half to win that back, which was good. And it was all mediocre pots and nothing too wild too, so I felt good about just kind of just grinding up easily without any horrific spots. Even chopped a free roll with the nuts against someone, so I could have even broken even on that same day. That was like a 1,000-pound pot that was chopped up. Got to Southampton, and apparently the 1-2 PLO game that used to run has been dead for a little bit of time. London Vic Pros annihilated it, made the 1-2 game a 1-2-5 and 2-5-10 game, and then I guess killed all the local action. But the Facebook group has come to my aid to give me some sort of PLO here, so it's not a totally wasted trip. But honestly, the place is so cool that, like, I'm okay with it. We'll meet right back here at the end of the session and go over maybe 2 or 3 of them. So, through the magic of timely editing, I'll catch you here in just a moment. 1 step forward, about 3 steps back, another quick little tiny step forward, and then today another big time losing session. 3 more buy-ins down the tubes. Wild game, like super aggressive, all sorts of 3-betting and 4-betting. I think you were going at least 6 or 7 ways to every flop, even in like a 3 or 4 bet pot, and it was just wild. People were making moves and going crazy. In a game like that, you know, I decided to go a little short stack style, try to find spots with more nutted type hands and see if I could kind of jam decent equity and just, I don't know, card dead. There's definitely one huge mistake I made very early. About 15 seconds after that last clip you saw, I was approached by a kind of strung out looking woman, I think, who asked what I was doing with a camera and proceeded to say, and I quote, "That's not cool, bruv. You look like a Fed." And then proceeded to get on her phone, call somebody else, and then talk about me to them, asking them if they could see me from their window, like above the wall that you saw behind me. Like a super creepy and eerie situation, so I hightailed it out of there. Figured that at some point I'd have to tone down the right after session nighttime walk review thing, especially when I hit countries where English wasn't the first language, because like you just don't know what the hell's going on or who might approach you or what the deal is. And I may have to employ that tactic a lot earlier. I didn't think this town would be one to provide such an odd situation. It did, and I'll probably just have to tone it down. I might just have to not do the right afterwards thing, or maybe stay on the casino property and do the recounting before I leave or something. It seems like at night, especially in the dead of night, you're gonna have to keep your wits about you out here a little more than I thought initially. Hand one. The mistake hand. This is a dealer's choice Omaha game, so they'll play 6 cards if there's enough people to make it work out properly. They're doing a lot of 5-card PLO and a fair amount of 4-card. One of the guys was playing what is apparently Irish poker, which is just 3-card and then dump 1 on the flop. So I decided to do standard Omaha since I felt most comfortable there. So I'm on the button, 9-9, 10-8, single suited, a couple limpers. I potted up to, I think it was 20 or 25, so a bit of a loose open, single suited, but, you know, I was feeling froggy. I was feeling excited, raring to go in the sessions. Both blinds to call, plus 2 limpers. Even single suited, this might have been one of the sexiest hands I saw the entire day. It was pretty card dead. I flop is Queen 8-6, and it checks through. Turn completes the rainbow board, 3 of club. And now the big blind bets right out 100. And immediately I'm thinking set, weighting it more towards top set. How little did I know of how loose the game was and this particular guy was. So my thought was, I'm potting the river if I hit, essentially giving myself 5-1 with the implied. Even against queens, that was less than it. So I decided to call. In retrospect, probably a big mistake because of how I spazzed on the river, which did not hit me. It hit my 2 pair, so I had 10s and 8s at the end. The river's a 10. You know, jamming for the sake of jamming, thinking somehow you'll get a better hand to fold, even when you range somebody to a hand that you don't think will fold in a 2-street pot is just so bad, and that makes the turn call bad. I wonder what you guys think, like generally of a turn call when you weight them, let's say 85-90% to having a set, whether it's still a bad call because we're short stacking it and we can find a better spot to jam, like a flop, but yeah, just bad all around. The turn call I don't hate so much as long as I don't just go wild on the river for no reason, especially since I had a little bit of equity, you know, maybe they had a crazy draw or something and like just were firing a weird air ball, and you still have a little showdown value too, a tiny bit, but something, just really bad. So that was our first bullet in the game. Our next spot was a pretty trivial top set, fairly bare top set against a wrap hit, so we're out that next bullet, and then it just kind of dwindled from there, and then that's kind of how we lost the third bullet, and yeah. Ace-Jack 4-3 double suited. Got an opener, we call the button or the cutoff, I forget, a couple other callers, and flop top 2 with a back door. Get it in against top with a flush draw, and the flush draw gets there for a shade under like 200 bigs. And yeah, that was it. That was our swan song.
Their swan song. Once it's gone, you'll never hear that frequency again.
I was by far the tightest player at the table. Probably could have and should have been even tighter, but I mean, even the tightest player at that table was probably at like a 70-75% VPIP. And then some people were playing every hand essentially. Just kind of died. Another man with a wild camera. But yeah, so don't feel too awful yet now that you can sit back. Mistakes were made, but we can and shall do better, and we'll let variance run its course and hit the good part of it as soon as humanly possible. I guess that's it for now.